Okay. You guys, so I just wanted to really quickly do this because I've gotten to be on a couple Zooms and I really love this year, they're really focusing on pouring into leadership. And I think that that is so good because there's so many times that I think as you guys even become up and coming leaders, as we do, a lot of times we always feel like we're giving to everybody else, but we aren't getting it back, you know? And I know that some people feel the same way. I felt the same way as well. So I think it's something that's really great that they're doing. I also want to be able to do that for you guys. I just know that a lot of us, our Zooms are at night with our teams. And so sometimes I'll just randomly do this. And more so I wanted to do it today because it's really fresh in my mind. Pam just opened up a Zoom for us on a page and allowed us to actually submit some questions. She picked some questions out of that and went through and addressed them. And I just want to share it with you guys because I think so many of us are like, am I the only one feeling like that? Does somebody else feel like this? Like, and it's for whatever reason, like we just love to know that we all kind of have the same issues. We all kind of have the same problems. Sometimes we all feel the same way at something. And I think I'm going to try to do a better job for you guys. And honestly, you guys, I'm an open book. Like if you need something from me, you just have to ask because none of us are mind readers. And I think that that's a good thing to tell your team as well. And I tell people that because at the same time, you guys, I'm also doing my steps to success. Like never once have I wanted to be in management mode where I just am doing all these other things for, you know, everybody else, but not leading from the front. So I know that we all just need extra time in our day. So be open with your team. Tell them if they need something that they have to come to you, that they have to ask you for that. And obviously, you know, you're going to find things maybe as you go throughout that you're like, oh, my team might need this. And that's great. But sometimes we don't know what people need. And that's kind of exactly what Pam said. So she was like, hey, you guys, I want to be here for you. And I want to answer a bunch of your questions. And so she just opened it up. She posted it last week and just went through it. She cut it super, super short. And I know after being the It Works U in Michigan, which I'm super glad I just randomly decided to go to, there was a tool that is in our eSuite that most of us probably don't know if we haven't been to an It Works U. And we even just shared it last weekend as well. So I want to kind of do that with you guys. So the cruise, you guys, this is something that every single one of us should be utilizing to help build our business. And the one thing that I absolutely love about it is that it's keeping us to our steps to success. It's keeping it simple. It's keeping us focusing on rubies. Like, I think that is so big because there's so many times that I have people come to me and they're like, I'm so overwhelmed. And I'm like, here's the deal. Let's just go one ruby at a time on your map. And I thought it was awesome when I was at It Works U. I think I'm going to butcher this number, maybe not butcher it, but it's either one or the other. Ambassador map, you guys, is 52 rubies. Like, I don't know why that sounds 10 times more doable than just glancing at an ambassador map, but it is. You know, so you have to think, we all know 52 people that could use $500, correct? I mean, that's exactly what I was going for. So that's what I've started to try to tell my people and everybody on my team, even diamonds. I'm like, you guys, it is literally when you went ruby, I want you to help 3 more people do exactly what you just did. Who could those 3 people be and who's ready to work with you? So I love the cruise, you guys. I think bonuses are a double-edged sword. And I just like to be real and raw with everybody. FedEx. But anyways, I didn't get bonuses. So we didn't even have a ruby bonus. We didn't have an emerald bonus when I was going for it. I got a diamond bonus. And that was $10,000. It wasn't doubled. It wasn't a triple bonus. Like, it wasn't anything crazy. And then when I went double diamond, we didn't even have double diamond bonuses. When I went triple diamond, it was during a time that we didn't even have bonuses going. Was I upset that I went triple diamond and bumped my check up $5,000? So sometimes I'm hearing people that are like, oh, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait for a bonus. I'm going to wait to do this. You guys, that is the dumbest thing you could possibly do. Okay, I'm just going to be really, really honest. Yes, bonuses are awesome, but they only get paid out for 2 years anyways. They're going to go away. They are icing on the cake for your check. Okay, I'm just going to tell you that right now. You can build your check by thousands in way different ways. So we'll kind of go over some of those things just to kind of utilize that stuff. But this $500 bonus is huge for so many people. Like, I look back at my Ruby check, and if I would have been able to add a $500 onto it, I'm not a crier, but I probably would have cried. Like, I'm just saying. So I want you to kind of think of your map, and I want you to break it down. I want you to see who can still go for Ruby bonuses, who is eligible for their Ruby bonuses, and I want you to help them. I want you to guide your team to do the exact same thing. So they were just talking about really utilizing this cruise to build your business. The 10-10 thing that just came out, how awesome is it that we are going to push ourselves to do that? I've had a lot of people message me asking me if I'm going to keep my 10 loyal customers. I'm going to be really honest. I'm probably not going to, because I haven't kept loyal customers in years. But for other people, you guys, that maybe this is just their start, why not let them keep 10 people? Like, what if they did get a suite, you know? And so I guess you kind of just have to go off, and maybe what I always do for everybody on my team, and even for you guys, I just always say, like, here's your options, and you get to make the best decision for you. And so a lot of people are asking me, what are you telling your team to do? I'm like, I'm not telling them, but I do want to be on the same page as them. So if somebody does really want to do that, at least I know, and I'm not going to be like, hey, did you move your loyal customer? You know that this is what this person's going for. But I think leading from the front is awesome. So even if you're not going to save your 10 LCs, I want you guys to be welcoming them, to show them that you're working for it. You're working just as hard as everybody else is working for it. And I think that's what sets the pace for your team. There's been months in my business where I'm like, what the heck? Like, I just didn't feel good about that month. And it wasn't even maybe that my volume went down or my volume went up or whatever it may be. But when I look at it, you guys, it's because I fell short of my own personal goal. So in those months, that's where I felt like, okay, the fun's kind of out of it. Like, what was my deal? And so the first thing I always do is I go back and look at what I was doing. Did I all of a sudden, like, slowly, with not even knowing it, kind of get in this management mode? Was I not giving myself enough time for me to hit my personal goals? Like, you kind of have to evaluate it. The best thing I can tell everybody is look at what you're doing first, and then start reaching out to people. And usually it's something within us. But I always know that if I'm falling short of my goal, then I'm always like, no matter if my team's had a good month or not, I'm usually kind of beating myself up, because that's the fun of it, you guys, knowing like we're good at this. Like, we love this. We love helping people. So these are just some tips. This is going to probably seem sort of random. I just really wanted to touch on the cruise. And what people, like Mike said yesterday, he was like, you know what, you guys, this is where you find your people and you make a 30, a 60, and a 90-day plan with them, because that's what we have to qualify for the cruise. And Mark was even just saying, he's like, you guys, we all know none of us have gotten to where we are by luck. It is work. It is work. He's like, all these other companies are like, gosh, you're so lucky. You've just found this awesome group. And he's like, no, we work together and we made a business where people helping people works. And he's like, it's amazing what a catalyst that is for people. And the perception that you're giving on Facebook or Instagram or whatever it may be, he made some really good points. Like, he's like, you guys, I don't want you doing Zooms and trainings and stuff when we have the family calls on Sundays and Mondays. He's like, I want you to show that you're on these calls and that we work together as a team, that you follow your leadership. In that way that your team starts following your leadership. So when you offer a Zoom or a call, that they're doing the same thing that you're doing, they're jumping on it and they're letting you fill them up. And I thought that was super important. Even, month end, he was talking about it. How, even if you are on a vacation, maybe not taking it and being like, I'm on this huge pool deck and whatever it may be that you're doing, but instead showing that you're working or that you're still welcoming people wherever you are. Because he says, perception is reality. And I thought that was just a really good point. And to show, even just for us, that we are working all the way through month end. It doesn't matter if we're not promoting or whatever it may be that we're doing. We all work through month end, and we know we do. And that we're connected to our phones and whatever it may be. That's just the reality of this business. And even though we may not be promoting, what it's doing is it's getting us closer to that next promotion, or it's helping people on our team promote. So I thought that was good. And one of the things that they put on the other call was pick the people, you guys, that are meeting you 50-50. And, Stephanie and Joel Dunn just said it was kind of nice to hear. Like, obviously they're a top one. And he's like, we don't have a personally enrolled ambassador under us. Like, yeah, there might be ambassadors that are maybe not personally enrolled, but they don't have one. So if you're beating yourself up because maybe you don't have this or that, like, stop doing that. It doesn't even matter. They pour into people. They see who's working hard and they accelerate that. And that's how it builds your business fast. Sorry, I feel like a kid's going to bust in my room. Shh. And so find the people that are working and that are going to meet you 50-50. Work with the people that don't complain. Like Stephanie said, and I'm really big on this, you guys. I want to work with the people. It doesn't matter if they're going Mach 100. I want to work with the people that always have a positive attitude, that I don't constantly every single week have to have this like pep talk with them 24/7. Those type of people that I'm having to do that with, they're not in my top 10 that I'm running with. They're not the people that I'm going to be focused on for that month, because it is a mindset. I need you to go out of here for a minute. No. And so I want you to find those people. And that's what's really going to accelerate your business, is working with the people that are working. And they're going to bring people with them. You're going to find people. They're going to find people. So just evaluate that. It's not that I leave anybody behind. My personally enrolled, I love them. I tuck them under my wing. I'm protective of them, whether I place them or not, you guys. I tell them, I'm like, I'll let you start talking to them when I'm ready, but I do train every single one of them the exact same way. And so your team learns that, and you can do whatever you need to do. But just know, you guys, that those people that you are constantly having to pick up, they're probably not the one. Those are the kind of people that are going to drag you down, that make you feel like, gosh, this business, like some days this is really hard. And like Pam said, she's like, if you feel like you're not having fun or you don't have the energy, she's like, stop doing what's stressing you out. Like, I mean, it seems so simple to think about that, but figure out what it is that's stressing you out. Is it that you're putting yourself on a timeline that's unrealistic? Is it that you're comparing yourself to somebody else? Like, she's like, whatever it is, just stop doing that, you know? Because a lot of people were talking about how they're worried about their 2.0, or they're trying to find the fire to build their 2.0. And it's hard, you guys, because obviously all of us, we've gotten to work really close together, and those are the people that you've gotten to be really close to. So like, do we all want to work super close with our best friends 24/7? Yeah, we do. But when your best friend is somebody where you're not building, or, you know, maybe they don't really need your help, you have to be like, hey, we're here together on that part of it, but you need to like push your training and everything else out to others. You know, you need to constantly be welcoming that new life and building them up. So that's something obviously that, I mean, a lot of us have a hard time with, because you've built awesome relationships with, but just know they don't necessarily have to be in your top 10 people that you are like riding and dying with, but you still are working together. You know what I'm saying? I hope that kind of makes sense. So excitement is obviously huge, huge, huge part of it. If you look back in the beginning when you were first building your business, did you know everything about everything? Did you know the comp plan? I didn't even know what PBV and GV meant, but I was still signing little customers. I was still welcoming distributors. Did I know or have this huge, extravagant story of success? No, I didn't. What was I telling people? I tell people all the time, I'm like, when you're welcoming DTs, focus on why you joined. What did you see that was so positive about this that you joined? Tell them what you see in them, that you're going to them. You're messaging them for a reason. What is it? Tell them that. And so I tell people, tell them where you're going. Speak life into your business. You can say, hey, I'm going for Double Diamond right now. Like I tell them, I'm like, I joined for this. And you could say, I'm going for Double Diamond right now, which is like a $6,000 average month. Whether you're Double Diamond or not, it doesn't matter. You guys, you're speaking life into your business. You're showing them what they can do with this opportunity. So tell your people that, or that are really like feel like they're in a rut with distributors or whatever it may be. More than likely, they're completely overcomplicating it, or they're allowing their chicken list to sit there and it's their chicken list forever. Like, you just kind of have to get over that. So a lot of people said, like, I think Jade said it, and I thought it was really, really good. She's like, you know, in the beginning I was building super, super fast. And she's like, what was crazy is like my blinders were completely on. And she's like, we were in like, you have to do this or things are not good, you know? So we're really in that like ride and die. We're like building our business. We kind of had that make it or break it attitude. And she goes, and then I slowly started, you know, as I was doing well at it, I slowly started letting, you know, other people's whatever comments come in. I started kind of looking around, and she goes, and that like legit sucked the life out of me. She's like, sometimes it's paralyzing. So, you know, I always say like this simple, if we can keep it as simple as possible and our thought process as simple as possible, that's when your steps to success get filled out. That's when you are usually the best you that you can be to your team. You're not overcomplicating it. You're not necessarily saying, I always tell people, I'm like, I don't tell people what I make. Like, I've never done that. If Danielle would have done that for me, you guys, I would have been like, that's insane. Like, I probably would have thought, hey, she got lucky, like most people would think. So think of things that are relatable and that were really big for you in the beginning, going back to the beginning of what your excitement was. Let me see. Okay, this was another thing that I thought was super awesome. So Stephanie Dunn was saying, I've been billed on my 2.0 for presidential for the last couple months. She's like, could I have pushed for it knowing that there was a bonus this last month and they might not be extended? She's like, yeah, I absolutely could have. But she's like, I also want to build right and I want to maintain. She goes, I would rather miss a bonus and have a strong presidential with volume and maintain it forever and wait for 2 months, even though I knew other people around me were going presidential, with their 2.0s. But she's like, I didn't do that. Okay, so if she's not doing that and she's still the top one, like they're building right. So I just want you guys to know that, like, build right, build what's right for your team, build what's right for you. I've gone to where I've gone from double diamond to diamond. I hated it. I refuse to ever do that again. If any of you guys have done that, it's okay. Like, you can come back from it, but here's the deal. As I did that and I started doing things and getting out of my comfort zone, offering things to my team that I saw maybe that I wanted offered to me maybe. And even though I wasn't awesome at it, maybe I'm not awesome at a Zoom. I mean, you don't have to be organized to throw a Zoom together. You don't have to have your thoughts totally perfect. You don't have to necessarily be making a ton of videos. You have to do what's right for you. But the thing is am I ever going to look back? And after I went triple diamond, like Stephanie said, she goes, yeah, I might not go presidential diamond or I might hold it for a couple months, but literally I'm lining it up so that when it happens, pretty much we're going to go presidential, ambassador, and continue. I mean, and I love that she said that, because sometimes it's hard to put into words maybe what happened, but same for me. Yeah, I was probably at double diamond for over a year. I could have gotten really upset, been like, okay, this totally sucks. Or I pulled my head out of my hiney and I started doing it. I started having fun. I partied. I did things that I didn't even know I was capable of doing. And I got to triple diamond. I promoted in October. So times that maybe people don't want to promote. And have I ever looked back and been upset and been like, I'm just really upset that from there on out, my team's been just amazing. And we have a strong team. We're strong knit. I've never had to worry about maintaining. Like, you don't think like that, you guys. So get out of your little rut if you're in one and just move on. Like, figure out what it is that you need. So, what was I going to say? Oh, this was another thing that Pam said that I thought was super powerful. And, somebody was saying, like, I don't want the heartache and the stress of building a 2.0. And she was kind of, like I told you, she's like, well, whatever's stressing you out, stop doing that. And she said, most of the time when you're feeling like that, it's because you're in that mode where you're just filling boxes. You're filling boxes to fill boxes. She said it like using people. And she's like, really, when you actually fill a box because you genuinely are ready to help that person that's in that box, she's like, that's where the fun's at. Loving on your people, the relationships, like, that's what's fun. She's like, so get out of filling boxes. Like, and stop yourself and ask yourself, like, do you know exactly what that person's goal is? Like, have you asked them? Focus on maybe the reasons why people join. Not everybody joins for money. So I tell people this all the time. I do have people that are always with me. They maybe have maintained executive like a boss. Maybe they go down to a 400. Maybe they are almost Ruby and then they don't push hard enough to do it. The thing is that I want them to do it when they're ready. Is that my mindset? No, I'm like, this is my full-time gig. This is what I'm doing. But am I going to be upset with them? No, they're just not a part of my map that I'm going to necessarily be growing. I'm not going to push them to do something that they're not ready to do, nor do I want to be pressuring somebody to be promoting. And then they're like, what, this isn't fun for me. I'm just going to quit. So you guys, like, you have to know what people's goals are. You have to know maybe their reason why they join. Some people join for the community of it, and that's what they needed was the friendship. And maybe it takes them 2 years to catch the vision, even though you see 110% potential in them. We all have those people. We have those people that we know that, oh my gosh, their network is amazing. This person has the best personality in the world. I mean, I have best friends like that. I have a best friend that just joined again, and her network is insane. And she's still at $400. And you know what? Like, when I get the call that she's ready to go, and this is in her call, you guys, was the cruise. She wants to go on a cruise because she's never been on a cruise. She could buy her own cruise. I don't know why she hasn't been on one, but now this is what's going to motivate her. So how awesome is that? So now I'm ready, and I know, like, okay, I can actually start building here because she's ready to go. And I know when she's ready to go, like, she will take off. But I just want you to kind of think of that. So don't use people, you guys. Like, help them hit their goal and have a goal in place with them, and know that they're, like, you care about them. Like, that goes a long, long ways, instead of just, like, filling boxes wherever you may be. So I thought that that was a really good thing, because I know that some people will say, I'm burnt out, or I'm this, or I'm that. And, you know, it's easy for us to reflect on ourselves, but it's not necessarily always easy. So things that we can ask them, like, when's the last time you've wrapped somebody? When's the last time you've gone and helped at a wrap party? Maybe it's not even your personally enrolled wrap party, but you could still just be there to be there, to get that fire lit. And you have to just say, you know, like, are you getting plugged into calls? Are you doing calls for your team that you want to do for your team? Like, why aren't you? Pam just did a thing for us, and she was asking questions the whole entire time on the Zoom. Like, how do I do this? How do I do that? You do not have to be perfect at doing any of them. And just, I don't even know who piped in to help me out, because they just know. It's probably Greta, because I ask her stuff all the time about IT stuff. So just know, you guys, let your pride go away. Ask people questions. I don't care where people are. If they know, and I know that they're awesome at this or that, I ask them. I don't care if they're an executive. I don't care if they're a black diamond. Like, I go and ask for what I need, because I'm trying to be the best that I can be. And that usually means that I'm the best leader for all of you. So I think pride is a big thing. Coaching through a rut. I just have to do this. Hold on one second. Oh, okay. So how many people come to you and say they're in a rut? Like, I just want hands. Okay. That is one of those things that I'm like, oh my God. Okay, so how are we going to do this? And sometimes it seems to be the same exact people over and over. And so I thought this was good. Ronnie was on there, and she, you know, she's just hilarious. And she's like, so here's what I've decided. She's like, when I was in a rut, this is what I was doing. I was comparing myself to other people. I was comparing myself to how fast they were going and how I maybe wasn't doing that. I was surrounded by negative people, maybe that had drama going on in their team, or, you know, they were taking something to heart that they absolutely shouldn't be. She's like, I just started realizing that, like, I was around that. She goes, as soon as I started to not allow myself to be a part of those conversations, or maybe she got pulled into a conversation on Facebook, she would leave it. And she goes, yeah, some people are like, why'd you just leave? And she's like, you know what, you guys, I'm just like, this is my thing this month. I'm not going to waste my time on that kind of stuff. And she just said she's noticed that her fun and her business started booming. Okay, so I do the same thing. We already said, like, when's the last time you've wrapped somebody? When's the last time you've tried to have a party? When's the last time you've been out and talked about it? Your business. Like, that's great for personal people, but you also have to ask them, like, who's your accountability partner? Do you have one? Because if you don't, you need one. I don't care what rank you are. You should have accountability partners. They're awesome. And it's okay to change your accountability partner. It's not like they have to know, but I'm telling you, if I call Trisha and I'm like, hey, Trisha, I want to go, you know, like, let's do this together, or let's push each other and share ideas that we're doing with our team. Trisha's not going to be like, oh my God, Sarah just messaged me. I mean, maybe she would, but I mean, most people, you guys, are not going to ever do that. What's awesome is that what I'm going to do is I'm going to start following Trisha, and maybe when I'm having a bad day, Trisha's having a great day, and I feed off of that. And, like, I always tell my team, like, you cannot have a bad day. Like, walk away, have a bad 4 hours, but don't allow yourself a bad day. Like, and you know what? When I'm burnt out, or I'm like, okay, today I literally have been giving every pep talk in the entire world. Guess what I do? I actually go charge this because it's at 1%, and I, like, leave it on the charger. I don't charge it with my Mophie. I don't do any of that kind of stuff. I, like, legit leave my phone for a little bit and allow myself that time. You know what's crazy is that by the time I get back to my phone, I'm already, like, pepped up and ready to go again. So allow yourself that time, but just make sure it's not a bad week or a bad month or whatever it may be. You just kind of have to keep going. And know that most of the time when you're in a rut, you're either second guessing yourself, you're letting doubt come in, you're comparing yourself to somebody, you're getting caught up in drama that maybe is just made up. I mean, I don't even know. But I've never been huge into that anyway. So, and most people know that I'm like, I'm really annoying. Like I'm a wall when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I just don't feed into that. So I think that that's a big thing to find the people that are positive, find the people that you want to connect with and surround yourself with those people. And if you have some of the negative Nellies, like you guys don't allow yourself to be caught into that. Let's talk about the biggest thing to maximize your paycheck. And I loved this. So the biggest thing that a lot of the, Black Diamonds or people that have been in it for years on end, they are constantly bringing new life into their business, always 24/7. There's many days where even I've thought to myself, like, oh my gosh, how have they been in this for 12 years and they're not tired? And you know what? Like, they are constantly adding new life. When you have that excitement from new life, like it's kind of impossible to be tired. So obviously enrolling distributors and making sure that half of step 2, so getting those 2 loyal customers, they are running reports on fast start bonuses and making sure that they're getting their cabs and whatever else it may be. So you guys, I will be really honest, I've never been big at running reports because when I look at my day, sometimes I'm like, this is what I'm going to keep doing because this is what I have time for. Or, sometimes I'm like, somebody will mention something and I'm like, dang, that's a really good idea. But I'm like, okay, but how much is it worth my time? So we all kind of think of things. So it's something that even for my husband and I, that I'm like, you know what? It would be really good if I had things that I know maybe that I'm not doing that could help us build our check. And then I could hand those over to him because sometimes it's hard to find where your husband's going to fit in or your significant other, or whatever it may be. But the truth of the matter is they may be sitting back, but they do want to help you. They're watching you. Even if they're still working their job, it doesn't matter. So they constantly run the leadership qualification by period report. You can export it into your Excel sheet and they sort it out by coding. And they are sending out the emails to the enrolling distributor. Okay, so not to the distributor that's maybe 1 LC short from getting that second loyal customer, but they send it to the enrolling distributor and they say, they're not like, Joel's not like, hey, can you get that person 1 LC because I'm going to lose my cab? Like, that's not how we go about it. But really, it's training everybody to kind of have the same thought process. Like, I don't really miss fast start bonuses. I kind of teach my new people the same thing. I'm like, that is money that's instantly in your hand. Like, who can't use that? And so making sure that when you're messaging them saying, hey, Amanda, so-and-so needs 1 more LC. And if she doesn't get that, like you're going to lose out on your $180 or whatever it may be at that point that she could be cabbing off of it or whatever it may be. But letting them know, you guys, that they could be missing out on that money. So it's not even just you, but they're missing out on a big portion of money. And so for some people, I always tell people, like, if there's one part of the compensation plan that you can 110% control, it is fast start bonuses and enrolling distributors. So even for new people, I say, like, if you are really like, oh my gosh, I don't know, I'm not good at LCs or I'm not good at this. I'm like, focus on giving your distributors tools to get those LCs. Like, you are good at them. You have to get that out of your head. And you are also good at DTs. You just have to tweak your wording or whatever it may be, but help them. Stephanie's like, in my mind, I kept thinking like, I'm not good at LCs, but what I could do is give my team the tools of those 3 distributors. And my thought was, if I get them their 4, I just help sign 12 LCs instead of just focusing on just 4 of my own. So not only did I help somebody do it, but they benefited from it, and so did I. So just know, you guys, like, fast starts are awesome for people. It's something that comes to them right away. It's not something that they have to wait a whole entire month, or maybe this check wasn't enough so that they have to wait, maybe even 2 months into the business before they get a deposit on their pay portal. So that is literally every single one of those people on there that I was on with this morning. That is like one of their main focuses for building volume in their checks. Like, they all said it. And every single person that said that they started doing that their checks jumped a lot. So even, and it's like, if Greta's starting to focus on it and showing her team to focus on it, it just trickles down, and then maybe you go to a point where you're not having to message a certain, downline because that it's already kind of being taken care of. So, and I think you guys, most people are messaging them about like 10 days out of like hitting they're not like messaging them 2 days and be like, hey, do you think you can get those 2 LCs and the ADBV auto ship ran? The auto ship, does anybody, you guys can even do the chat thing, does that seem to be like a real struggle Or is that like becoming an issue on people's team that people aren't setting up auto ships, or is all going well for that? It's all good? Okay. Oh, some people are saying yes, raised hand. Okay, Greta, you gave a thumbs up. Can you unmute yourself? Tell them what you're doing to make sure that your team has auto ships running, even new distributors.
I don't give anybody an option. I usually tell them, I don't ever tell them about the 150 unless they start complaining about the 80. So I never say you could do this or this. I always say, if you want to be commission qualified starting from your second month on, you need to order so-and-so amount of product. The awesome thing is you can sell that product and turn your investment into a profit. And then if they start saying, well, oh, I don't have it, I'll say, well, you know, there is another way you can get paid. Like, I don't usually suggest it, but if you have over 150 in sales, you could get paid this way. It's risky, but you could still get your check. So I kind of make it just seem like obviously what it is, not a great option and kind of a backup plan.
And I do the same thing. So I saw somebody commented on there and said they don't want to spend. My question to them, then I instantly just say, okay, so in my first month, I made $1,100 in wrap cash. How are you going to wrap people if you do not have any wraps on hand? Like, that's my question straight up. And they're like, well, I don't really know. I'm like, well, just know that there's 5 ways that we make money. 2 of them you can't do yet because it comes after you hit diamond, and now you're taking out 1 of them again. So now you just limited yourself to a commission check and fast start bonuses. Like, and I just say, does that seem like it would be like a smart business move for you? And I just tell them, like, for me, my wrap cash actually is what made me get ahead to where I never ever had to be paying out of pocket for my auto ship, no matter what I was doing, even if I didn't sell it. Like, I finally got to not be a psycho and let my husband use the products. So I just let them know that, you guys, and I educate them. And then the other thing I tell them, because I have truly seen it happen, is that if you're going to do the 150, what I just need to know what your plan is going to be, that when you're going for a Ruby bonus, if somebody returns something on the last day, do you have an LC that's sitting there that could order whatever volume that you would need to keep you commission qualified? And the thing is I have truly seen that happen to people. And you guys, I've had it where people start and they're super, super stubborn. Like, and I'm like, I mean, it's up to you. I'm not going to not let you sign up because you don't want to do that. But the deal is, you guys, is that let them know. Like, I finally said to the one, I was like, is it a money thing, or is it like is it like a thought process, like that you're not running? Like, one of mine was almost going to be Emerald, and she was like, and then when I said that to her, when I said, you know, if somebody returns something, like, you're kind of SOL, like, you just wouldn't get paid for all your hard work for the month. I mean, and she's good, she's smart, she's an attorney, like, she's not. It's not that she doesn't know. It just, I don't think she ever thought of it like that. And she's like, that really happens to people? I'm like, yes. You know, and so from then on, she's constantly run it. So I just really, you guys, when I'm talking about things, it's not for me. Like, you're not running an EDBV auto ship for me. Like, your EDBV is not a big deal to me. Doesn't make or break anything that's going on for me. And so I just explain to them, what I don't want to happen to you is this. You know, and I just say, if you're okay with that risk, like, that's totally up to you, but like, don't come to me if something happens, or if on the last day of the month, something does get returned. Because seriously, you guys, I've actually seen that happen even over the last couple months when people were going for good bonuses. Like, they didn't wait till the last day, and all of a sudden the next day they woke up and they were sitting at diamond, even though the day before they were double diamond. So here we are, like, scrolling through to see where one order dropped or volume dropped to be sure that we could get it right back up, so that they wouldn't lose their promotion. So that's kind of how I tackle the EDBV auto ship. I think if you're confident about it, you say that you've always run it. I tell people, I'm like, I haven't lost a dime in this business, and there's not a month that I haven't run an auto ship. So to me, I tell them that's the one way that I know how to coach you to run a successful business, and they know why. So if you're confident about it, I think that people start trusting you a little bit more regarding it, knowing that you're not telling them to run an EDBV auto ship for you. So that's what I talk about. So keeping momentum going. So it was funny because I guess somebody had said on there, like, oh, how do we keep this momentum going? Like, I feel like April was a tough month. And it was funny because Pam's like, well, what are you basing that off of? Because a lot of us, and even as a company, our volume, we had another record-breaking month. So what are you basing it off of? You know, and she said, it's not based off of enrollments. Like, yeah, we had an insane month of enrollments the prior month, But the deal is what were we all focused on? We were all focused on helping them get volume, and we were focused on helping them, getting them launched and all that kind of stuff. Well, we get paid on volume. So like your momentum didn't go away, you know? And so things to think about, you guys, when you do have a big month, like that's when you pull your team in on the first of the month and you say, hey, you guys, like this was our highest month of enrollments. Like this month, we want to get every single one of these people off and like launched correctly. Like let's get them there so that they are eligible for these Ruby bonuses. Because you think like if we get all these people, and I have a list for my team, even on my maps, like I put all the dates and I reach out to their sponsors and I say, hey, this is her last month. Like what's our game plan? Do we need to get on a Zoom with you, me, and her? Like I want her to get her Ruby bonus. And so I kind of make a list and I go through all that. And so I tell them, I'm like, you want to get with your team and you want to make sure that all these people are launched. Obviously, retention is one of the best ways. And that brings in even just another thing. Like I had somebody the other day that was mad because somebody had renewed. And I said, you know what? I remember being mad, the same thing, because it's maybe somebody that has this big leg under them. And you're like, oh my God, seriously? But here's the deal. You know what I do with that, you guys? I just tell them, I'm like, hey, I saw that you renewed. Did you have a change of heart? Or I see that you're sticking with it. You haven't really, built your business, but like, do you know that you could build a Ruby leg and you would be diamond? Like, it doesn't hurt you guys. That's a personally enrolled diamond under you. That makes your check jump. So, don't be upset with those people, you guys. I always say I'm so nice whether people quit or don't quit, because when they decide, and I'm not saying if, like I know they're going to decide to come back, because I'm not kidding. I think 98% of them do. I want them to come back to me. I don't want them to be like where they left this team because it wasn't right timing for them, and now they're going to go find a different leader because somebody was nasty or all bent out of shape because they were quitting. Like they're quitting on themselves. They're not quitting on you, and you're going nowhere. So why not be nice, be supportive, and when they're ready to go, like you're there and you get to help them and it still benefits you. Like you're still their enroller. So don't take that personally. Another thing is I'm assuming everybody obviously charts. Like I mean, to me, that's just what I do. I love it. And if you don't have charts in front of you, even if you feel like somebody just messaged me. I'm dying right now. Anyways, even if you feel like you are super far off from promoting, say, to the next promotion, triple diamond or whatever it may be, you guys, I still want you to have your triple diamond map up. Like, I don't even care. I don't care if it's for ambassador. I don't care what it's for. Like, you still have to see that and see what you're going for. Otherwise, you're just going to be like spinning your wheels. If you guys even saw my folder, I don't know where it's at the second. If you saw my folder, I legit have like 40 maps in there because I have a map for even my executives. Like, yeah, I know them in the top of my head, but I also use it as a training tool. And the fact that I go and message somebody that's going for exec and I'm videoing, telling her where I'm finding this volume, how to chart. Like I've gotten so many messages that are like, I can't believe you have my chart. I'm like, well, why wouldn't I have your chart? So you should have charts for your team. Use that as a tool. I use that as a tool. And honestly, it's even like kind of almost used as a recognition tool. Like I didn't see it like that in the beginning, but people are so taken back. And you guys, an executive is an important part for everything. Like that's an important part for somebody's Ruby. That Ruby is an important part for somebody's Emerald. That Emerald's an important part for maybe a diamond or whatever it may be. So we need to have charts out in front of us. We need to be guiding ourselves. We need to be guiding our team. And not just the people that are in your map. Okay, so I just want you to hear that again because, and I don't think people do that, but I think some do. Like, I may have somebody over here that decides that they're ready to gun it, and just because they have nothing to do with my 2.0 team or my ambassador or whatever it may be, you guys, I still map them every single month because that's my personally enrolled. Like, I'm going to be helping them. I don't just drop them off because they're not a part of my map. So going back to remembering that you are a leader to even those that aren't filling your boxes. Okay. What was I going to say? I did that. Okay, I did that. Somebody made a comment, you guys, that potential doesn't pay. I like that a lot. So if you see potential, I have a lot of people that do get stuck on people. They're like, but they would be so good. I'm like, they would be, but they're just not this month. So like we have to kind of like, they can't be your 10 people that you're really focusing on. Like, and here's the deal. I'm going to show you this because I think that this is a really good thing. So this is what have any of you guys gotten this? No, yay. Some people may have that were just at our like diamond retreat just this last weekend. But okay, so this is actually in your eSuite. I think this is awesome. I just want you guys to know that this tool is here. This goes and it tells us exactly what to focus our time on. So I don't know about you, but how many of us are like, I don't know where my time should be going. And it's like, I've done this for 4 years, and there's some days that I'm like, dude, why am I walking in circles? Like, why don't I know where to start? Why don't I know what to post? Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, you just have to figure it out, right? So even after 4 years, I still do that some days. Like, I'll go to grab my phone. I'm like, what am I going to freaking post about today? Like, I mean, what is my deal? I'm going to post about the same thing I posted about the first day I joined, right? So here's the deal. This on here, first thing is focusing on you, on your steps to success, okay? So I think that's a big deal. This on your eSuites in your document is called your offensive game plan, and you'll find it and you can print it out. Okay, so then your second is your top 10. So you are gonna make a list, your list, okay, I'm a mother hen, so Mark was making fun of me because he's like, well, you probably have a top 1,000. I'm like, okay, yeah, I do. But here's the deal. You cannot have a top 1,000, okay? These are the people that you're gonna be talking to 24/7 on a daily basis. And so, wait, that's for you. Okay, here's your top 10, you guys. It can maybe be 15, it's okay, like whatever, but these are like your main game players. Like these are people that I know if I'm working with them, that this person, if I'm guiding them and giving them everything I have, they're gonna be guiding their 10 that are under them or whoever they're working with the exact same way. So really this one person could be touching 40 people. Okay, so I really want you to think wisely of these top 10. I want you to write them down. These are people that you are going to either today or tomorrow literally have a 20-minute Zoom. Okay, my Zoom is going longer than 20 minutes. I'm fully aware. I'm almost done. Okay, but this is, and you're just gonna say, like sometimes I will get on a Zoom and I say, hey, we're gonna do this for like 15 minutes. Everybody has 15 minutes. We all have 15 minutes to give somebody. So, and I say we're gonna be really short and to the point. We're not gonna get off about how Joe's baseball game went. Like, I'm not going to tell you about my kid cracking his head on the steps like 5 minutes before that. Like, we're just going to get to business so that we're on the same game plan. And then each week you kind of go through this. And what's awesome is that you have a pregame sheet. So once you pick your 10, this pregame sheet, it's stuff that we know, but it is like gold. Once you read this, you guys are going to love it. It just gives you like exactly, and it's going to make it so that your 20-minute Zoom has like organization and construction to it. That's what it's going to be, constructive for them. So it will say like, what wrap parties did you schedule? What were some of the things that stopped you, do you think, from achieving your goals from last week? Like it just, and you know, it's like many times we want to ask somebody that, well, like, why didn't you hit that? You know, or what stopped you? Or sometimes we think it's like excuses. What's awesome is that they're writing this out themselves and they're actually bringing light to it without you even having to. So that you don't even have to worry about hurting anybody's feelings. So I love it, okay? So, and it's going to say, what do you want to discuss on this call? So maybe they want to discuss, like, Kayla, how are you talking to potential DTs? I saw that you signed 2 last week. Like, can you tell me exactly what you did? Awesome. Kayla doesn't know that you need that unless you ask her, okay? Kayla, none of us are mind readers. So they don't know that, you guys, until we put it out there. So before you set up these calls, maybe when you pick your 10, go have them print this pre-game face sheet out so that way you know exactly what you're going to go over. Okay, so that's that. What was I going to say? I just wanted you guys to know that that's in there. And then I thought what was really awesome, somebody else said, and I've said this before because I actually got it off of one of Stephanie and Joel Dunn's. I think he says it every time I see him. I don't know if he's talking to me or I don't know. But he says, it doesn't matter where you're at. You guys, you have to find your pace. You have to find your pace, okay? And so every single one of us struggles with balance. I'm just going to be really honest. There is not balance in this business, okay? Just so you know. There's going to be days where you're like, yes, I'm like kicking butt at everything. Like, I'm an awesome boss, babe. I'm a good wife. I'm an awesome mom. And then the next day you're like floundering. You're like, oh my God, what happened? Like, I just was really good on Tuesday, right? And you feel like you didn't waste any time and things were going good. That's just life. Okay, so what you need to do, and I tell everybody on my team this, I go, I want you to figure out, everybody knew I say, I want you to figure out what you can commit to posting to Facebook every day. Is it 2 posts a day? Is it 1 post? Is it 3 posts? And whatever it is, that's what I want you to do. I don't want you to post 20 times one day and then be gone for 3 days. I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to do that on Instagram. I don't even want you to do that to your team. I want you to figure out what your pace is, okay? And you have to know that if all of a sudden you disappeared for 2 days, guess what? Your team is going to also disappear for 2 days, okay? So figure out what your pace is. You have to know, is it messaging 20 people a day instead of trying to throw in 100 messages, over 2 days to people? Like, your 20 messages every day is a lot stronger than just randomly messaging out of 2 days 100 people and then going like you're gone and you're not messaging anybody over the next week. So explain to them, pick your pace, figure out what the pace is that that you can consistently hold and stay there. If all of a sudden that pace is, maybe it's not enough people, or it's not your number to get your steps to success done, you guys just slowly increase it, or tell them, be like, you totally did way more than what your goal was. You can either maintain that and you did well, or, were you feeling like, oh my gosh, a lot of things got put on the back burner. Maybe I could scale it down a little bit to feel more balanced out. So you kind of I tell people, I'm like, find your pace and let's figure out your golden number for you. And it's going to be different for each person. As people get more efficient, or, seeds may plant, or whatever it may be, there's going to be times where maybe they don't need that much, but very few people are going to be like, yeah, I overshot my goal, I'm going to scale back. Not very many people say that. So that's just kind of a good gauge for people, and it gives people to go off of. A few tips that I'm just going to throw in really quick that I've been using. For people with loyal customers and my new distributors, you guys, I make them out of our product. I make them pick 5 to 8 products. And I say, out of those 5 to 8 products that you really want to focus on right away, I want you to write down 3 people that could use the greens. I want you to write down 3 people that are trying to grow out their hair for hair, skin, and nails. And I want you to message them about it. You guys, people are getting their 4LCs without me even touching it, without even throwing a party. And what it's doing is it's giving them, they're not like, oh, I have to focus on the entire product line. And I say, if somebody comes to you, they're like, no, I don't want the hair, skin, and nails, but hey, I did see that you had this, or I want to lose this much weight. I go, message me. I'll help you. We'll tweak it. But now you still have that contact. You're not going to be upset that you signed somebody for the Airworks system and not hair, skin, and nails, But for whatever reason, it's a lot easier for people to figure out that, hey, yeah, my Aunt Marge wants, she talks about her freaking dry skin and her skin's dull all the time. Hello, exfoliating peel. I just give them a list of products, and I say, I want you to write down 3 people that could use every single product. And we're going to message those people, and I'm going to help you. And so I kind of just give them little things. The other thing that I've been working on, and I'm probably old school, so you guys probably already know this, but is that you guys can save posts. So if you're scrolling through Facebook and you're like, wow, Anne just posted an awesome post, and I think that that's a really good one for people to use. You can save it, and then in your team page, you can start making, maybe these are opportunity posts or maybe product posts. And you can make kind of a thing and start putting them under there, so that way, instead of us saying hey, this is a really good post, and then literally 400 people posting the exact same post for the day, they can go in there, hit the search button, put opportunity post, because they're going to try to get some people on their team or post about the opportunity. They can go in there and they can see oh, I have 10 different things to choose from, so that they can kind of help. And I always tell people, I'm like, these posts are a backbone. These are a backbone, and I want you to tweak at least 5 to 6 words. That's what I tell them. And what's awesome is that people aren't necessarily copy and pasting. Because they are somewhere making it their own, so it isn't the exact same thing as somebody else's. So just tell them, this is your bone, this is your structure, your skeleton, and I want you to either add a few words, take a few words out, make a few words your own, and they're just doing a lot better at making it more personable. And I tell people that, I'm like, your friends don't want to join me. Your friends want to join you. And this is why I'm telling you to do this. So that seems to be helping. Is there anything else, you guys, that if you wanted me to address anything, you can throw it in the chat really quick. I don't want to take any more time. I know I did this really last minute for you guys, but it was just fresh in my head, and I really wanted to tell it to you guys because I thought it was really helpful to myself. So can you do this more often? Yes, I promise I will. I tell people this, you guys, I'm really bad. Sometimes I'll just randomly, I almost feel bad that I'm throwing people on the spot because I'm very just at the last minute. And you guys, if you're ever on a message and you're like, I know a couple people could use this on my team, just add them to it. Like, I'm not good at I can't, like, for everything I'm doing, go through my entire eSuite and try to, like, figure everyone out. So, and it's not because I'm trying to exclude anybody. I want to help as many people as I absolutely can. I want to give any information that I can for you guys. So I would love to do this more often. Sometimes it's probably my own fault thinking I don't have things to offer to you guys, which I know is not true. Sometimes it's just like we hear the same information, but at whatever it may be, that 7th or 8th time, it just really clicks to us. So yes, I will do these more often. Jackie, you unmute yourself and ask. Oh.
I'll just ask it.
Yeah.
Okay, so clawbacks. I'm really kind of confused about that because on Cloud9, I know there was a couple people asking about, and I don't know if it's just for the good bonuses or if it was all for promotions, but if there are returns up to the 15th of the next month before payday, does that affect promotions or how does that work? Because there's been 2 different answers. Some BAMs are saying yeah, and some are saying no. So I don't really know. I can't see them doing that.
No. If anything happens, okay, so what I will tell you, and I don't even know if Rachel's on here, but what actually happened one time for her was it like wasn't, you know how our eSuite is really freaking slow or stuff isn't showing up in personally enrolled or whatever it may be. What happened one time was that they had it backdated. And I was like, it was not there. Like, I am psycho. Like, I am type A as they come, you guys. And I'm like, that was not there. And so, like, even on that one, like, my BAM fixed it. And so, if it is postmarked, or like, I'm just going to say the whatever timestamp that they want to call that they always say it. If it's done after the end of the month, like, it cannot affect somebody's promotion. It is going to affect your check. They'll probably take it out. But it's not going to. Hold on. What did you just say? You can unmute yourself if you have something. Oh, yes. See, it does. So I'm glad I'm on the right track. It does not. And my BAM's been really new, but I've even just like said, like there's like no possible way because we have no control over that. Like we can't even fix that. So I just want you to know that if it's time stamped afterwards or like if literally you guys, like you knew, and you guys, I've just been a really firm believer that once you see it, even in leadership reports, that somebody is there and maybe they're promoting and whatever else, like take a damn screenshot of that. Like on the last day of the month, like take a screenshot and be like, no, this is what it was showing. And say, you know, so like, yeah, I get that, but that was never showing there. And this is like how we ended the night at midnight. So, I mean, that's kind of out of our control. You guys need to fix that. Or they'll let somebody, like on that case, she was like, I'll let her do a 23BV order on that clawback. And really, you guys, what this one was, it wasn't even that somebody sent it back. It was that it like randomly charged her 2 orders. And then it obviously fixed that it saw that it duplicated her order. But still that BV was counting in there. So when she went to go place an order, she was like, no, that BV was there. So what they allowed her to do was just like place an order for that BV because they saw like, yes, it was our fault. It duplicated the BV on this loyal customer's order. We'll allow her to do it and we'll backdate it for her. So, I mean, I'm just saying, I know we've had a few things that you guys, most people have an upline BAM. Like those are things that I use my BAM for because I'm like, that's huge. And I'm like, you know what, if you're going for stuff like this, you guys screenshot it so that you know, so if something did happen, like, you know that you can easily back it up and they will help you fix it. So, any other questions, you guys? I recorded this, so when I figure out what to do with the recording, I'll give it to you guys if you need it for anything or if you popped on late. So, if you have other questions or even something that could add that maybe I didn't touch on or something that's been working, go ahead and jump in and let somebody know.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Okay, so you talked about not, like, you want people to change posts, but a lot of people I know are doing, like, Newbie to Ruby pages. We're doing, like, a 400-page for Ambassador. So I give them a post today and tell them to post it because I want them to learn how to post and whatever. So you think we should not do that because it's creating too much, like, duplication of the posts?
You can do it. I think what happens that's hard is like when all of a sudden, like say you have your distributor and she signs up 5 of her friends and they have like some of the same network. What people are getting flack from is they're saying like, oh, well, you just posted the same thing as Emily. Like, is that what you guys do? And so I just told them, I'm like, you guys, if you see one or you want to post this, like just tweak it a tiny bit. Like, it doesn't even have to be anything crazy, but if it's working, I mean, do what works. Like, I'm big on that too. And I do give examples, you guys. I'm really big on giving examples, especially in the first, because I tell my distributors, I'm like, I want you to, let's get your 4 loyal customers in the first 72 hours. And I tell them, like, we don't even need your kit for that. And so when we give those products, when I told you how I picked those like 5 products for them to do, I give them pictures of those products so that they can post about them. I give them pictures or some sample posts regarding those products so that they can post about them. If somebody comes to me and they're like, Sarah, I have like 4 people that have been wanting the It Works system. I'm like, guess what? You're going to post about the It Works system. And that's kind of like a silent, like, hey, you were supposed to be ordering this. And I'm like, and they're going to see it. You know, so I'll help people I go, you know, the extra mile to give them some posts. And some people may say, you know, oh, you're hand holding or you're doing this. Honestly, I'm doing what works. And if it helps them get some of those first wins to know that they can do this business, like, I'm all for it. So, I mean, obviously everybody does their own things, but we just were getting a few things of flack on some of that kind of stuff. And so I just told them, I'm like, you guys just know that this is like, if Ann gives you something or whoever, or Ann, just say, like, if you guys think that there's something that you want to tweak in that, like, I'm giving you the skeleton because I wouldn't want you to sit and not post anything, you know, and let them know, because they're going to be grateful for that either way. Anybody else?
Sarah, I had a question. This is Desiree, about loyal customers. I was wondering what you do to, you know, keep them, how you train to be following up with them once they've already signed on.
Okay, so my loyal customers, I'm old school, but I keep my Steps to Success sheet. And so one thing that a lot of us did is we have this like desktop calendar. Okay, and it's bulky and it's big, but it is what it is. And you know what? That's one of my tasks in my week where I follow up. You know, I can see who I signed last week, and I follow up and I say, hey, did you get your product? You know, and I say, like, okay, perfect. Like, this is how we're going to use it. And then, like, same thing on days like where you're doing the spinning circles and you're like, okay, what am I going to do today? That's where I go back and I say, like, hey, how is the It Works system going? You know, and I explain to them, like, why don't you tweak this? Or what do you want to put in your next auto ship? Like, what can I help you with? The thing that's really awesome, you guys, is that if you actually continually, like interact with your LCs, you'll be amazed at how many actually join you. So that's not something that I necessarily take lightly, because, like, I don't want to just constantly always have to find this or that. And the other thing is if, like, they're one of my main people, or I already know, like, yeah, they wanted to start with a product. I have those people where I'm like, I want to turn this person into a DT, or I can see that anybody that, like, knows how to change their own auto ship, I'm like, I want her. I love her. Okay. The other thing that I've been doing too is that, which allows me to get LCs, is, you know, for me, I love the business. It's an absolute no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't you do the business? But for those that are really like, oh, I just don't know this, I'm like, why don't we just start you with some products? We can always upgrade you. This is what we can do, but why don't you just use some of the products, because I know you will absolutely love them. So, like, what is something out of all the products that you see have you really been dying to try? And you guys, I've been getting LCs that way, which is great. Like, it's still LCs. Now what am I doing for them? I'm already just getting them to have a testimony, and they're going to be that much more confident when they decide to join me. So instead of just constantly pushing, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to flip it. Like, most people, I go first for the distributor, and if I have to flip them and whatever you want to call it, like downgrade them to an LC, I mean, that's still a win-win in our book, right? So everyone does different things. If anybody else on here has something about good retention on LCs or getting them to continuously order, go ahead and share. Let me see. I thought there was one other question.
Oh, I'll just share. I'm old school too, Sarah. I write it out on note cards, and it has saved my life. I write out what they order, the day their auto ship is, and then I have them, I'll put them, if someone's auto ship's going to come out on the 10th, I'm going to talk to them on the 1st or the 2nd of the month and let them know, your auto ship is set to run. Do you need help changing it? And I also have started doing, it's probably a year ago now, but been sending out thank you notes, and I've been sending out samples of WOW and some Greens on the Go, and I have upsold the crap out of people doing that. So just again, right now I just checked, you reminded me, and someone just added Greens on the Go because they sent her a sample. So samples I love them. And the fact that you write a handwritten thank you to people, You can get them at the dollar store or in the dollar bin at Target. That's where I get all mine, or Hobby Lobby, and they're really cheap and they're cute.
See, I need to go the extra step to a thank you. And you know what's awesome, you guys, is I know that when I was talking to just even Lindsay last month, she had that month where she signed so many loyal customers, and that's all she really focused on going for her presidential rank. And she was like, you know what's awesome is she goes, I literally messaged every single one of them and just said, hey, your 3 months is up. If you were done placing orders, or maybe you still have a hair, skin, and nails to use, like, let me know and I can help you turn your auto ship off. And almost every single one of them. So like, I'm not going to lie, you guys, I don't tell people, I'm not like, hey, you're at your 3 months. Like, I'm kind of gun shy to say something like that. But guess what? I'm not kidding. I think she said like 90% of them were like, no, actually, like, I saw you posting about this, or like, I actually really love the exfoliating peel. And they're like continuing. So it's not like she didn't trick them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like things maybe where we're kind of gun shy to do that. It's like, actually what it speaks to them is that you're confident and you're not here to just like take their money and walk away. Like, you really do care about them. You want them to be using products that they like. And you guys, even for like when I reach out, there are people that are like, I just really don't like the wraps, and I'm like, that's okay. Like, what should we get you? Like, let's start this. Or I'll say like, hey, these are some of the products that I absolutely love. And I say, I don't use the wraps every single day, and no one is going to use them every single day forever and ever. Right. So we do want to get them switched. So, that's something that I always try. And I'm like, these are the products that I literally use daily. And I tell them, and most people switch and they're like, oh, okay, well, I do want to try that. Or I want to try the greens. Or, I've heard you say a lot about the greens. Or I really want to try the cleanse. And what's awesome is that now you're like finding them and they're realizing, like, what if all of a sudden one of the months comes along and now they've tried 3 different products and they order all 3 because they want to use them together. So I think not being gun shy on our LCs is a big, big thing. And it's actually will boost your business a lot. And I don't care. I still want my LCs ordering under me, even in like my 2.0 spot, or even I have, maybe I helped with some LCs in a certain spot. Well, what if I need that one spot as a $400 and I'm still have all those LCs ordering? It's like, yeah, but maybe my distributor isn't doing a whole lot there, but it still is volume. Volume is volume. Like, that's what you get paid on. So I think LCs are like our golden egg. So, and if you love on them, they will love you and they will bring so much to your business. Let me see it. Somebody just wrote, sorry. Okay, old LCs that turned off auto ships. We do this, and anytime that there's new products brought out, like the It Works system, I went back to all my people in the before the It Works system even came, and I have them because I'm crazy. I also, as I sign them, you guys, I put them in a folder in my email. They're all my LCs, so we can easily go through and pull them. And so I will, or maybe I'll say like, hey, I'm running a special this month. You can hop on and you would get your hair, skin, and nails, or whatever it may be, or a cleanse at this price. Like, it's a special. People don't know, like they're like, okay, and they're going to get your price. So I'll pop on to do that. Those are things that I do definitely during like promotion months, or I explain the same thing to everybody else. One other thing, I'm glad that I just thought of this. You guys, ask your LCs if you have them. Like, now we're not going to have the referral program anymore. And I think something different is probably coming, but go ask them. Say, would you want to host a party? Do you have any friends that you think would also, like, it can be an online party because you can even do it over a couple days and just schedule your posts in there. But it still is allowing you to do a party, and it's reaching out to more network. Like, if all of a sudden they have 4 friends that are going to order it, that's when you say like, hey, you could easily become a DT. Like, you have friends that want this stuff. Is this something that you've ever thought of? If they haven't, like, fine. But you could even just send them a thank you and be like, hey, you know what? I'm really grateful that you did that. And I wanted to send you like a facial, or I wanted to send you a facial, some greens and some wow. Like, samples, again, just like Jackie said, like, use what you have to help promote your business. I mean, if I have extra wraps and I'm not using them that month, I'm like, I'm going to figure out a way to either wrap people, or I'm going to do something that's going to benefit somebody. So that's another thing that I've also been having a lot of my new distributors do is say, like, if you have a loyal customer, ask her if she would do a party. Like, let's do one for her, or even like a Zoom party, whatever would work best for her. And they're getting, they're just growing their network that way. And I tell them, I'm like, I want you to make sure, that you're interacting with these people. And if you can't message them, you have to friend them. which obviously has more people following them too. So that's another good way, you guys, to help grow people's networks. Anything else, you guys? I'm sorry, I didn't want to take a lot of your time, but I hope this was good. Are we good? I just needed to share so I didn't forget good information that Pam gave me today. Okay, well, I love you guys. I'm so glad that you popped on here. Super short notice. I know I'm an a-hole. I'm so sorry. But I will have this recorded and I will get it transferred over. So if you guys just need it to reference to or for ideas or whatever it may be, just use it for your team, okay? I love you guys.